Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Donna,
My name is Marco.
and together we're going to present you the different paths to grow as a key partner with a focus on the external solutions. The idea of today will be to determine the most efficient way to grow related to your company needs. But first, before getting started, let's point out that this talk is mainly meant for Odoo partners, but can always be interesting for any business owner that is willing to boost the evolution of his startup or his company. But Marco, could you give us a first run through the agenda, please?
Absolutely, Donna. Thanks a lot. So, what are we going to do, first of all, is to give you a little bit of context, market update regarding Odoo evolution and customer size evolution over time. Second, we're going to give you the overview of the different methods of expansion that you can adopt in your business. Third, we will go and deepen a bit more about the different types of external solutions. And last but not least, we're going to tell you what is the best solution for you to grow. Before that, Donna, I leave you the stage for the context.
Thank you. Indeed, let's put things back into the context first. As you know, Odoo has been created now 20 years ago, but it's only since the 6 or 7 last years that Odoo has been really booming. And as we can see on this graph, Odoo generates new customers, and the amount of this new customer has increased by 85% each year over the last year. That's a lot. Can you imagine? Now, the average size of customer that we bring is also increasing. Indeed, the amount of 50 plus customers joining us every year is increasing by 59% also. That's a lot. Let's take a look at the evolution of our partner network at the same time. The first partner joined us in 2006, and we are now today more than 4,000 partners, with more than 1,000 partners joining us every year. But the average size of our partners is a bit low. Indeed, only 11 employees by company in average. This amount is growing pretty slow, but it needs to pump up. Indeed. In conclusion, we notice that Odoo is growing really fast and gaining in maturity. We are attracting bigger and bigger customers, such as Arrival, Glovo, or the European Commission. But the partner needs to address this size of customers. They need to grow as fast as the market does. And this customer needs partners being able to sustain their needs with sufficient resources. Now, our network of partners is at a turning point. Indeed, the gap between smaller partners and bigger partners will drastically increase. And we are going towards a consolidation of the partner network. And you don't want to miss the train. Make sure to be part of this front wagon, part of the group that will take care of this bigger customer and that will keep evolving fast. What can you do? Well, first of all, you need to reach your critical size. In order to take care of these customers, you need to have at least a team of 15 to 20 employees. This number of employees includes, of course, all the administrative workers, the salesperson, the consultants, the developers, and the support team. This is the minimum necessary amount of employees in order to support and to give a proper service to this kind of customers. But before thinking about any expansion, make sure to have solid foundations and an established structure. And the identity and culture of a company is also very important. Without all these elements, you won't be able to support the evolution of your company, and you will probably collapse while trying. Now, Marco, can you give us more information about the methods of expansions of today?
Absolutely, Donna. So, let's go through the methods of expansion. Well, let's step back 1 second. Let's clarify something first. I would like to give you a difference between two important words in business, growth and scale. Why that? Growth is revenue when revenue increases together with cost, while scaling up is revenue increase without incurring insignificant cost. As you can imagine, scaling up on the long term is way more efficient and effective than growth. But this depends a lot on the industry. So, depends in the industry that you are, you will focus on both of them. But today, for today's talk, we're going to focus specifically on growth in its own broad and general term. Question for you now. How many ways of growing your business do you actually know? Well, we have identified two main macro categories of ways of growing. First, internal or organic growth, and external growth. The goal of the two kind of growth is different. The organic growth is focused on a stated and long-term evolution by hiring more staff, more equipment to increase the output, no matter if you are selling products or services. The external growth wants to leverage on the synergy with more companies to attack the market, and of course to leverage with the external resources and capabilities. We will not going to focus on internal growth, because for that there is a very interesting talk made by our colleague Samuel Green, how to recruit and scale your Odoo team for long-term success as an Odoo partner. We will instead focus on external growth. We identified 4 main strategies of growing externally: strategic alliances and joint ventures, M&A, international expansion, and investors. Let's go through all of them. Strategic alliances and joint ventures, both of them are forms of collaboration that happens by sharing resources and capabilities. But both of them, they have different goals, of course. Let's see what. First of all, strategic alliances are not necessarily backed up by an agreement. The goal is to maximize the returns and enhancing each other's business in the collaboration. We see, for example, a lot of strategic alliances in everyday day-to-day business when we work with our partners. For example, when they partner up to tackle a specific different and a complex project. The characteristic of the strategic alliances are the companies keep independence and they share assets and capabilities. On the other side, we have the joint venture. They are formally backed up by a joint venture agreement in which you define the scope, the goal, and the business objectives. The goal indeed is to mitigate the risk of operations and to create competitive advantage on the market. We can see an example when companies join venture to attack a new market. The characteristic is that you create with the joint venture a new legal entity and for a specific business scope. Let's go to see the advantages and drawbacks of both these forms of collaborations. Well, generally, the advantages are several. We can see organizational advantages because you share resources, economic because you reduce the cost and you tend to maximize the profit. At the same time, strategic because you share your knowledge and you access also new customers. You can have political advantages to enter new markets, image recognition, you can grow fast, and you can, of course, increase the profit. On the drawback side, of course, you need to pay attention of sharing internal and sensitive information to other companies, because you can potentially create new competitors. There is a clash of cultures and methodology. You don't have to forget that you are going to combine 2 different companies that have different way of working. Other important point is that expertise and investment level often is not equal. Some companies can be financially healthier than others, and this can constitute a problem. And then it's time consuming to find the right way to collaborate. Let's move on to M&A right now. M&A, it's a more complex way of strategy and integration strategy. Merging, it means company merging into one new entity, while acquisition, it happens when a company A acquires company B that ceases to exist. Advantages and drawbacks are multiple. Let's see first of all the drawbacks of M&A. As I said, it's very complex. They have a complex structure and complex building of the strategy. So you can incur in financial burden and sunk costs, such as accounting costs, because you combine 2 companies or maybe more, and legal costs to happen. Then management needs to take particularly attention on the lack of big picture, because employee distress can raise following the M&A, because they're not used to work in a company that now it's so big and that entails many cultures. And then, so this means that a poor business integration and execution can lead to a disaster. On the other side, though, you have many advantages, such as economy of scale and economies of scope. What are those? Well, imagine 2 companies fuse and you can combine those inputs. If there is the right synergy, well, you can produce more products, more services, diversify them, and attack new markets. So you have access to new opportunities, new revenue streams, which means, consequently, that you diversify your risk. And these are very good advantages of M&A. You have also reduction of competition, access to new talents and knowledge, and tax advantages. Now, for the international expansion, I want to leave the stage to my colleague Donna.
Thank you. Indeed, who never thought about opening a new office on an exotic island? Well, if you want to open offices abroad, there are two ways to proceed. First, of course, opening new offices or acquiring a local partner. Let's keep in mind that all the reflection that we had for collaboration and alliances are also applying to this kind of expansion. Now, you also remember that there is so many combination of alliances as we can think of repartition of revenue and responsibility assignation between the different parts. Now, regarding international expansion, what are the advantages and cons? Well, first of all, it gives you access to an extra market. There are so many markets with high potential out there, and you don't want to miss this. Now, establishing other offices abroad also giving you an international image to the company and enabling you to work maybe with international projects, to work also together with new international customers as well. Now, if you want to go for a nearshoring or offshoring strategy, you could also get access to cheaper resources by opening an office in these countries. It gives you and grants you a definite advantage on cost in your home country. Now, of course, when we talk about opening offices in other countries, we'll definitely talk about some drawbacks, such as the complexification and of the organization and structure of your company. You will more than probably have to deal with different time zones, different languages, and other cultures. Reason why the culture of your company, as I said, needs to be strong. It will, of course, generate more costs. This is something not specific to international expansion, but just when you open new offices, think that you will increase the amount of people that needs to take care of these new offices. You create more basic cost and fixed cost for your company. Reason why the structure of your company needs to be strong and being able to support the opening of new offices in the early stage. Now, let's talk about the professional investors. Who are they? Basically, they are individual or funds ready to provide equity to your company in exchange of part of the ownership. We identified two main kinds of investors. First, there are the business angels. And second of all, there are the venture capitalists. Let's talk about the business angels first. They are usually individuals or group of individuals willing to invest in your company, often coming at the early stage of your business when you're investing in startups or scale-ups. And they are willing to provide you, as well as the investment, some advices and act as coach for your company based on their previous experience and also providing you with contacts and the network that they enjoy so far. Now, the investment that they can provide is usually between 10 to 100K or more if they are a group of business angels, and the risk that they are ready to face is higher. Indeed, they are not linked to any bank, so they can take the decision for themselves when they want to invest in a company or not. On the other side, we have the venture capitalists. Now, those are usually investing bigger amounts in your money and will invest in company at a different business life cycle. They will go for company with more established businesses and will go through high and important analysis before investing this kind of amounts, of course. Now, you have to understand that they won't face high risk, of course. But you also need to understand that venture capitalists will often need to sit on the board and exercise bigger, important control than angel investors in your company. So, in any case, you are working with persons investing in your company and willing to get a return on this investment. This is the reason why it is really important to find the right partner for you, the one that shares the same visions and fits the way of working of your company and fits the life cycle of your company as well. Because it's true, you are actually letting someone getting in your home, and it better be the right partner. Now, there are a lot of investors out there willing to work with our network of partners. But here are already two examples. The SRIW, who is actually one of the Odoo's shareholder, created a fund to support our Wallonian partners. They already made a presentation that you can request and that we will provide for sure. Now, on the other side, Green Park is also an investor that is working with our European partners and is already busy investing in some of our key partners at the moment. Make sure to contact them if you want to explore this way of evolution. Now, Marco, can you give us a few hints about what our partners did?
Absolutely. Thanks, Donna. So here, it's just an example of our partners around the world that benefit of external solution types to grow their company all around the world or in specific area or geography of the market. We have, for example, OBS, Odoo, Voxo, Port Cities, and Easy IT. All of them accessed to new investment type to acquire more resources, more capital, and more liquidity to grow and expand their business. What is the best solution for me, you could ask? Well, to conclude this, we could say that there is not the best solution for you because it really depends on three kind of factors. First of all, what do you want to achieve? Second, what's in your pocket? How much liquidity do you have to grow? And company stage. The three of them, they really contributes to your growth and you need to understand what is the best fit for you. Any strategy has its own advantages and drawbacks. Remember, search for the best way to grow that fits your business goal and your company stage. Growing is all about finding the right momentum and seizing the opportunities because there is not a unique path to follow. Well, that's all for our talk today. I really thank you for listening to us and I hope you can enjoy and you appreciate the useful tips that we gave you today.
Indeed. And make sure to stay with us during the Q&A session. It will be a pleasure for Marco and I to answer all your questions.